From Church Militant Studios, this is the Church Militant Evening News.
Hello and thank you for joining us this Wednesday, March 1st. Happy Wednesday. I'm Hunter Bradford along with James Fedua here with Catholic News and Context. Tonight, a Catholic hospital isn't trying to save babies, it's trying to kill them. The Pope is cutting back on benefits for bishops and cardinals, what an idea. And a disgraced sex abuser priest is trying to play the too old card.
Well, leading us off tonight, for nearly 2 years, Church Militant has been following a group of St. Louis pro-life activists, sounding the alarm about Catholic hospitals in St. Louis, including Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, referring unborn, developmentally disabled children for abortion. Well, those activists are at it again. In tonight's in-depth report, Church Militant's Christine Chrisley previews a film exposing corruption in Catholic healthcare.
We won't kill this baby. Here's someone else who will kill this baby. That is cooperation, but it's formal cooperation.
A new film, Scandal, The Catholic Culture of Death, documents example after example of hospitals in the St. Louis-based SSM healthcare system referring parents of unborn, developmentally disabled children for abortions. It provides direct testimony, not only from ethicists and activists, but also from a parent who in the spring of 2019 almost fell victim to the recommendations by doctors at St. Mary's Hospital to terminate the life of her baby girl.
The ladies, she did the ultrasound and everything. They said the same thing. Best thing for me to do is terminate the pregnancy. And then what we was explaining to them, we came here because we didn't want to terminate the pregnancy. And it was just like basically they kept telling me my best thing to do was terminate it.
Pro-life activist John Ryan has assembled an impressive array of evidence, which he has presented to SSM officials, Archbishop Mitchell Rosansky, and Missouri Knights of Columbus. The Knights provide major funding for developmentally disabled children at Cardinal Glennon Hospital.
Where did you go? Where did they tell you that? See if we can get them to tell you.
Where'd you go? What hospital?
Yeah, who?
Cardinal Glennon.
They sent you here?
Yeah, that's where we were for our last two babies, too.
Wow.
None of them have offered a substantive response. But Ryan didn't give up. He found support for his cause from two St. Louis Catholic organizations, Credo of the Catholic Laity and Defenders of the Unborn, who were major underwriters for the documentary. On Saturday, the invitation-only film premiere, moderated by former Republican Senate candidate Mark McCluskey, attracted nearly 200 people. Earlier that day, many of those same Catholics gathered at Calvary Cemetery's Garden of Innocents, where a burial service, delayed because of COVID, took place for Aubriana's baby, Kalia Marie. Some priests in the Archdiocese of St. Louis were willing to view the film privately, but the film's producers were disappointed. Not a single priest attended the premiere of a documentary that exposes a local healthcare system's formal cooperation in evil. Christine Chrisley, Church Militant Evening News, St. Louis.
In 2007, Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital sponsored a benefit concert with pro-abortion entertainer Sheryl Crow. Even when then Archbishop Raymond Burke resigned in protest from the hospital's foundation board prior to the event, board leadership went forward with it.
Pope Francis is canceling all free or subsidized accommodation granted to cardinals, bishops, and ecclesiastical bureaucrats. The draconian cuts are geared at filling the financial meltdown threatening the Vatican. Francis's rescript ordering the cost-cutting measure follows his audience on February 13th with Maximino Caballero Ledo, prefect of the Secretariat for the Economy. Any exceptions to the rule have to be signed directly by Pope Francis.
And here with more on this story is our Rome correspondent, Dr. Jules Gomez. Jules, great to see you again. So has the Vatican actually admitted it is doing this to fill the financial black hole they're facing?
Absolutely, James. That's the purpose of this rescript. And let me read to our readers, our viewers, directly from the rescript. Pope Francis says that this is being done in order to meet the growing commitments that fulfilling the service to the universal church and the needy requires, that's basically euphemistic, in a particularly serious economic context such as the present one. That's not euphemistic. Express the need for everyone to make an extraordinary sacrifice, cardinals giving up their freebies basically, to allocate more resources to the mission of the Holy See. Again, a euphemism. Basically, their coffers are running empty and they need to desperately get money in, including by increasing the revenues from the management of real estate, James.
Yes, and we've seen that a couple times with the nuns that they evicted on the Amalfi Coast. But this isn't the first time you reported on the Vatican's deficit, have you?
Well, remember, we did a story last year on the 1st of April. Francis gave the cardinals what I called an April Fool's Day shock. He cut their salaries by 10%.
Yes.
And over the last 2 years, we have repeatedly heard how the Vatican finances have hit an all-time low, particularly as a result of the drastic measures imposed by the Vatican, ahead of most countries actually, to, bar and the entrance of unvaccinated people to the Vatican museums, to the Vatican City, etc., etc. And they're really suffering as a result of all these short-term policies, or these short-sighted policies, shall we say.
Yes, I'm sure there are a lot of cardinals, a lot of bishops, a lot of people in the Vatican that are really mad at what's going on right now, and I don't know. We'll see where it leads. But Jules, thank you very much for coming on and speaking with us, and we'll probably see you again real soon.
Thank you, James.
God bless.
Thank you, gentlemen. A disgraced former Cardinal Theodore McCarrick's defense team is requesting a Massachusetts court dismiss the 3 indecent assault and battery charges against him. In a motion filed on Monday, McCarrick's defense teams claim McCarrick suffers from significant, worsening, and irreversible dementia, and thus is legally incompetent to stand trial. Assistant District Attorney Lisa Beatty has notified Judge Michael Pomeroy that the Commonwealth will hire its own expert to assess competency. As Mitchell Garabedian predicted, the battle of the experts begins.
And the Diocese of Sacramento released an announcement over the weekend that has many faithful thinking bankruptcy. Bishop Jamie Soto told Faithful in a video on Sunday big changes are coming to the diocese as it faces 200 sex abuse lawsuits.
This financial challenge is unlike anything we have faced before. I must consider what options are available to us should the diocese become insolvent. I regret that this information will be a source of disappointment and anxiety for the faithful.
Bishop Soto told his flock to keep an eye out for the March-April edition of the Catholic Herald magazine for more about, quote, the ongoing efforts of the Diocese of Sacramento to protect the young and vulnerable.
The communist regime of Nicaragua is pushing the church further underground. In his latest move, President Daniel Ortega banned all public processions of the Way of the Cross for the Lenten season. This follows the recent sentencing of Bishop Orlando Alvarez of Matagalpa to 26 years imprisonment, convicted of treason for criticizing the Nicaraguan dictatorship. Bishop Alvarez refused the option of being deported to the U.S., choosing instead to remain behind with those suffering the repression of Ortega's regime. God bless you, Bishop. And when we come back, the courageous Florida governor is taking a jab at a huge corporation. And a mother has taken a stance after her 2 sons died young. Stay tuned, all that and more up next. Thank you for watching the first half of Church Militant Evening News.
If you would like to watch the rest of today's episode, please click the link in the description, and we'll see you at churchmilitant.com. God love you.